In Squid Game, the deadliest weapon isn't a gun, it's betrayal. Think about this. You're trapped in a brutal game where losing means death, but you're not alone. You've got someone by your side, someone you trust. You've saved each other's lives, made promises, and planned how to win together. And then, just when you let your guard down, they stab you in the back. Like Ali. He thought he had a brother in Sang-woo, someone who would stick with him to the end. But in a single moment, with nothing but a fake promise and a cruel trick, that trust was shattered. 1 second, Ali believed they were a team. The next, he was standing there empty-handed, watching his closest friend walk away.
Sang-woo? Sang-woo? Where are you? Sang-woo? Sang-woo, hello? I'm done with this side. Sang-woo?
In Squid Game, trust isn't just dangerous. It's a trap. Every friendship had an expiration date. Every alliance was just one game away from betrayal. So was backstabbing the only way to survive? Or did Squid Game just reveal people's true nature when the stakes got high? Let's break it all down. If there's one betrayal in Squid Game that left everyone furious, it was this one. Ali and Sang-woo weren't just allies. They were like brothers. Ali had already saved Sang-woo's life back in the second game, pulling him up when he was seconds away from falling to his death. And in return, Sang-woo treated him like family, always speaking to him with respect, always making it seem like they were in this together. Then came the marbles game. At first, Ali believed they were a team. They just had to find a way to survive together, right? But then, Sang-woo started acting strange. He was too calm, too reassuring. And then, with a warm smile, he handed Ali a fake promise. He told him to trust him, and Ali did. Seconds later, Ali was left standing there with a bag of rocks, while Sang-woo walked away with all the marbles. No argument, no fight. Just a quiet, devastating moment of realization. Ali didn't even get to say a word before the guards took him away. And the worst part? Sang-woo didn't even look back. That moment proved something chilling. The most dangerous betrayals aren't the loud ones. They're the ones that feel like a warm embrace, right before the knife sinks in. This betrayal felt different. It wasn't cold. It wasn't calculated. It was desperate. From the start, Gi-hun and Il-nam had an unexpected bond. Il-nam wasn't just another player. He was the oldest, the weakest, the most vulnerable. And yet, instead of casting him aside, Gi-hun protected him. When others ignored Il-nam, Gi-hun stayed by his side, laughed with him, treated him like a person. So when the marbles game was announced, Gi-hun was relieved. He thought they were playing together. But then, the reality hit. One of them had to die. At first, Gi-hun tried to play fair, but as Il-nam started losing track of his marbles, something shifted. Il-nam forgot the score. He wandered off, confused, lost in memories of his old home. And in that moment, Gi-hun made a choice. He took advantage of Il-nam's confusion. He lied about the score. He took marbles Il-nam didn't even realize he lost. And the worst part? Il-nam knew.
Which one did you just say? Can you repeat what you said just now?
Even.
Oh, I lost this one.
That final look he gave Gi-hun wasn't anger, it was disappointment. But Gi-hun had no other choice, right? Unlike Sang-woo, he didn't want to betray his friend. But in Squid Game, even the kindest players end up breaking their own morals to survive. And the real question is, did Il-nam let him? Some betrayals are quiet. This one was brutal. From the moment Deok-soo stepped into Squid Game, it was clear. He played dirty. He wasn't there to make friends. He was there to dominate, intimidate, and survive at any cost. But even a guy like Deok-soo needed a crew, a gang of players who feared him, followed him, and trusted him to lead. Then came the glass bridge game. That's when everything changed. One wrong step meant instant death. And when it was his turn to move, Deok-soo froze. He refused to go forward, refused to risk his own life. He ordered someone else to take the next step, but his right-hand man hesitated. And in that 1 second of doubt, Deok-soo did what he always did. He took matters into his own hands. He shoved his own ally off the bridge. No second thoughts, no hesitation, just pure self-preservation. In that moment, the people who trusted Deok-soo realized the truth. He never cared about alliances, only himself. And if that wasn't bad enough, he would soon find out what betrayal felt like firsthand. The next betrayal? This one hurts in a completely different way. Because unlike the others, this wasn't about greed or desperation. It was about love, about sacrifice. Sae-byuk and Ji-young weren't lifelong friends. They barely knew each other before the marbles game, but in just a few moments, they formed something real, a connection built on shared pain, on mutual understanding. When the game started, neither of them rushed. They talked, they shared their stories, they dreamed about life after the game. But then, reality hit. One of them had to die. Ji-young could have fought. She could have played to win, but instead, she did something unthinkable. She let Sae-byuk win. She dropped her last marble on purpose, smiled, and said, "You have a reason to live."
I have nothing.
What?
You got a reason to get out of this place. But I don't.
I don't. Sae-byuk didn't betray Ji-young, but by accepting her sacrifice, didn't she? Unlike the others, this betrayal wasn't cold-blooded. It was heartbreaking. Ji-young gave up her life not because she had to, but because she wanted to. And in the end, that made it one of the most painful betrayals of all. This one is bigger than any single player, because when you really think about it, the biggest betrayal in Squid Game wasn't between friends, it was the game itself. From the moment the players stepped onto that first battlefield, they were led to believe they had a choice, that they could play fair, form alliances, survive together. But the truth, the game was never designed for multiple winners. It forced betrayals at every turn. The tug-of-war game tricked players into trusting each other, only to make them kill another team. The marbles game? A cruel joke, disguising itself as a team challenge before revealing that only one person could live. Even the final showdown, Squid Game itself, was nothing more than a brutal way to turn two closest friends into enemies.
Youngil's gonna be okay, right?
And worst of all, the people running the game didn't just watch. They designed it this way. The front man, the VIPs, the twisted architects behind the scenes, they wanted to see how far people would go to survive. And the answer? Farther than anyone ever expected. Betrayal wasn't a choice in Squid Game. It was the only way to win. So after all these betrayals, who was the worst backstabber in Squid Game? Was it Sang-woo, who betrayed the one person who trusted him the most? A man who literally saved his life? Was it Gi-hun, who tricked a dying old man, taking advantage of his confusion just to survive?
Which one did you just say? Can you repeat what you said just now?
Or was it Deoksu, who didn't hesitate for even a second before throwing his own ally to his death? Maybe the worst betrayal wasn't from any of them. Maybe it was the game itself. Because in the end, every single player had to betray someone, whether they wanted to or not. And that's the most terrifying part of Squid Game. It wasn't just about winning. It was about revealing who you really are when survival is the only thing that matters. So the real question is, who would you have betrayed?